I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So welcome to our June 14th, 2022 Tiverton School Committee meeting. Is there anyone signed up for open forum? Okay. So I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
Take a roll call vote. Mr. Dakotas?
Yes.
Mrs. Farnworth?
Yes.
And I vote yes, so the consent agenda is approved. I'm going to ask for a motion to table the following items. Item 5C, item 5D, item 6A, item 6C, so basically it is the strategic plan update, the school changes handbooks, the second read of policy number 739 and policy 1270, and the discussion of the structural deficit. Anyone care to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I'll ask for a roll call vote. Mr. Dakotas?
Yes.
Mrs. Farnworth?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion passes 3-0. So we are on item 5A, year-end reports, school PTOs, boosters. Dr. Sanchioni?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're fortunate tonight to have an opportunity to hear from some amazing people who do some wonderful thing on behalf of our students. Our schools would not be as successful as we are without their dedicated work. So we have the PTO representatives from 3 of our elementary schools, our middle school, and our athletic boosters. So I spoke to them today. I thought to make it fair, go in order alphabetically. So with that being said, I'm going to call upon, she's up on the screen there, Marissa Conley, who's the president of the PTO at Possble. Good evening, Marissa.
Marissa, can you hear us?
Hi.
You're definitely unmuted.
You are definitely unmuted, my friend.
Julia Grace. What?
We hear you.
You hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Have at it.
Marissa, you're up next. Go for it.
Okay. Right now?
Yep.
Okay. Hello. So Marissa Conley from Possble PTO. From last year to this year, there's definitely been some very nice, exciting events and changes as the year went through and protocols changed. Beginning of the year, we kind of supported all the classrooms with supplies that they were just asking for. So hand sanitizer, because I guess a lot of the kids don't like the smelly ones, I guess, that come from the district. So we went and got a lot of Purell, Lysol wipes for the classroom, paper towels, masks, headphones, just kind of the little things to get them started. We always do little welcome back kindergarten gift bags and welcome back to the teacher gift cards. We weren't able to do any big events in the fall just because of where we were at with COVID, but we were able to do our pumpkin patch again with Leo sharing half the cost and donating over $250 worth of pumpkins and gourds, and kids loved it. They got to do little activities back in the classroom after they picked their pumpkin. We did get to do just the holiday ornament craft again since we couldn't do a holiday party. So we provided little gift bags and supplies with glass or plastic ornaments so that they can do that in the classroom and at least have something to celebrate and have a fun holiday event since we couldn't do our typical. Tiverton High School was nice enough, their woodshop program built us picnic benches for outside the school. And I mean, we had I think we paid $40 for supplies from Humphreys. Otherwise, everything was covered, which was amazing. And from what I gather, the kids who worked on it were previous Picasset students. So it's a pretty neat thing for everybody, kind of full circle. We sent our seed money over to the middle school for our now 5th graders, and we'll do the same with our 4th graders that are moving up. Halfway through the year, maybe January, February, we asked all the teachers for wish lists, just because we're not in the building so much, so you can't kind of see what they need. We're not spending a lot of money on events. So every staff member gave us a list, and we just went through and went shopping, from pencil sharpeners, pencils, dry erase markers, erasers, underwear for boys and girls for the nurse's office, just anything they can think of, and we just kind of stocked them up to carry them through for the rest of the year. Recess equipment, kind of the same thing as last year. We had done recess bags for each classroom, so we just kept restocking those as the year went. We do all snacks, waters for any kind of testing, like the RICAS testing, bring stuff in to keep the kids hydrated and with some things to chew and suck on, keep them busy. We do a movie license that covers the school to do any kind of, basically any kind of movie, whether it is Disney, whatever, you have to have a license to cover showing it, even if it's in the classroom. So we're renewing that because we were able to do our 4th grade night this year with an outdoor movie night. And we want to continue hopefully next year to continue them through the year, because it's just a kind of fun thing coming back to school, movie night, family night, a drop and go kind of night. So we figured if we cover a whole nother year, it's totally worth the price of it. Teacher Appreciation Week, just little things every week to kind of boost their spirits, to give them a little treat every day. And then we do throughout the year with our fundraisers. Top fundraisers might get a gift card to, we did like picture show, the movie theater for kids who were the top fundraisers. Little things like that, just for a little incentive. For our Memorial Day celebration, we got all of the students red, white, and blue beads, so nobody felt left out if they didn't come in all decked out. A lot of our kids come very decked out, and then there's some who they might not have it, so at least they had their beads. We have a 2nd grade field trip tomorrow, which is super, super exciting. It's the first field trip these kids have ever taken, unless they did one in preschool, and we're just supplementing whatever cost is not covered. We are doing our 4th grade movie night coming up. We'd like to give those kids moving up a little gift as they leave. So we ordered water bottles again that have the TMS logo, so they can go over to the middle school and have a water bottle to start out with. And then again, we'll contribute the seed money to kind of give them a little cushion as they get to the school. As far as fundraisers, we did our typical, we did the bag boon supply in the fall, the book fair, fall and spring we got to do in person. And that was drastic difference from last year doing it online. The kids were so excited. And again, I think up to 2nd grade, none of these kids have ever experienced a book fair. I mean, they were coming in and paying for the books and then asking if they were allowed to take them home with them. Like, they had no concept and they were so excited. Did so well with that, as well as the spring one. They just loved it. And I think the parents were just really excited to have something to participate in. Our Original Works is the art fundraiser every year, which is always a big hit. So we got to do that one, our soup one. And then our biggest is the color run that we just did on Friday. And that was, I think, if I'm correct, it was our biggest to date of what we fundraised. And it was incredible. I mean, we had a beautiful day. The kids were so excited. We had, I want to say, up to 60 volunteers of parents, and they were in it with you. I mean, some have never even been there for any kind of event. And just everywhere around, everybody was so excited, I think, to finally be together. You can meet each other, because that's definitely been a difficult thing of reaching out to parents to get them involved when you're not seeing them in person. So it was just a really cool event for them to take part in, and then give us a really great cushion to start next year off, because we're hoping to just be able to amp up events again so we can be really prepared for it. again, like all in all, the year started out a little different. So it was all about, just supporting the classrooms, supporting the teachers and staff and supplies and whatever the kids needed, and getting to kind of end on a great note of bringing back some normalcy of events. We have field day on Friday. We'll bring water and freeze pops for that. Basically just any way we've been able to support them and that the teachers have requested, we've tried to do our best to meet those needs and now kind of move forward as things are getting a little bit more normal.
Great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate all the work you guys do, and it sounds like you had a great year. Any comments from the rest of the committee?
No, I just echo, our gratitude for the PTO, and it sounds like even though this year wasn't 100% quote-unquote normal yet, you've certainly accomplished a lot. And thank you very much. I'm sure your families and your teachers and your kids all appreciate it.
All right, Marissa, go past it. Nice job.
Okay.
Thank you, Marissa. Outstanding job for everything you do. So I'd like to introduce you to Shauna Mcdonough.
I feel like we're gaining a little momentum.
Mcdonough, representing Ranger, who's done some amazing work for our district.
I think the other parents.
Right, well, thank you so much. Jen Oser, our president, couldn't be here tonight, so I'm here in her stead. I am just getting over some laryngitis, so I'm going to do my best. I hope everybody can hear me. So we kicked off this year knowing we needed a little extra fun coming in the time of COVID with introducing Tiger Pride Fridays, a school-wide spirit day every third Friday of the month. The PTO purchased a Ranger School t-shirt for every student in the school and a long-sleeve Ranger School shirt for every staff member who wanted one to participate. Students and staff could also wear school colors, tiger colors or stripes, Feinstein Junior Scholar tees, or Tiverton Youth Sports tees to participate. In addition to our monthly Pride Days, we welcomed our very own school mascot, whose name is Walt, short for Walter E. Ranger, and Walt made his big debut by surprising our students at recess with the help of some enthusiastic tiger tamers. Now you can hear me. He played Walt Says and Red Light, Green Light with the kids, and Walt has also made appearances at Dismissal, our science fair, and will be joining us at Field Day and Color Run later this week, the fourth grade farewell ceremony next week, and many more school events in the years to come. So I kind of just made a list of September through June of some of the events and some of the things that we did. In September, we had our Scarecrow Contest. Faculty and families were challenged to create a scarecrow to display at the front of Ranger School. The winner was awarded a gift card to Sports Kitchen and a Longplex Arcade gift card. Pumpkins and scarecrow decorating kits. A pumpkin was purchased for every student from Feral Blink Farms at a great discount, along with a scarecrow-themed decorating kit that some of the kids did in class if the teachers wanted to do it indoor recess, or they took them home. We did some fall decor with the help from Leo's that we purchased and decorated the entrance of the school. We had our annual soup and cookie fundraiser, and students sold frozen soups and baked goods along with a variety of gift products online and via catalog to raise $5,259, and $2,801 were the PTO profit. It was a great one for us. We did a holiday gift card drive, and families send in gift cards of their choosing into school to be distributed by Mr. Cabral to families in need throughout the year. We did holiday wreaths from Leo's, and we purchased those for the front entrance of the school. Little holiday cheer. On St. Patrick's Day this year, we decided to bring a leprechaun to school to help deliver stickers to every student that read "Lucky to be a Ranger student." And he delivered some festive sugar cookies to our staff as well. I think he made an appearance at the middle school by surprise in the morning. We brought back our very popular science fair this year, and it was back with a vengeance. We had over 40 students sign up to participate, and it was well attended. We're estimating maybe 75, 80 attendees came. It was an outdoor event at Ranger, and all the students who participate received a gift bag and certificate for their participation. We had a Ranger School wear, spirit wear sale. We had hooded sweatshirts, t-shirts, long sleeve tees, and hats. And 10% of the proceeds came back to the PTO, and that was open to families and students and staff as well. Teacher Appreciation Week, we had a week-long celebration with a special theme each day. Monday, we welcomed everybody back with a giant sign thanking them from the Sign Genies, as well as some chalk art on the sidewalk surrounding the school done by our families over the weekend. Tuesday, we did The Teachers Nailed It, and the aides knocked our socks off, and we had Color Street nail kits and cozy socks for everybody. Wednesday, we had You Are What You Eat, and the teachers received a catered lunch from the Moose Cafe, and all support staff were invited to stop by the Moose anytime during the day to grab a treat. Thursday was Anything is Possible with a Little Coffee, and we did donuts from Letty's and coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. And Friday, we did Thank You for Being So Sweet, and we had cupcakes and fruit. And all of those days were headed by a different parent volunteer or volunteers that took charge of that and kind of ran with their own idea, which was great. For Teacher Appreciation Week, our students were encouraged to show their appreciation with homemade gifts and gestures, such as bring a teacher a flower, real, drawn, or crafted, give a high five or wave hello, make your teacher a thank you note, draw a picture of your teacher and or Ranger School, and everybody's favorite, Dress Like a Teacher Day, where you could emulate your favorite teacher or rock your own look. We did have an assistant principal look in there. It was very good. We had our first in-person Scholastic book fair since COVID this spring, and it was also record-breaking for us. I know Picasset had huge success as well. Our sales were nearly $7,000, which is almost $2,000 more than any previous fair we've ever held. So that translated into $3,461 in Scholastic bucks that goes directly back to Ranger School to be used over the next 6 months. And we were able to turn $1,000 of that to buy 50 United We Stand textbooks for the outgoing fourth grade class, from our outgoing fourth grade class, for the incoming fourth grade class, and for many years to come. So for those two classes to have those books in their room. We organized a spring sign spruce up with the help of a local landscape company. They helped us edge, weed, and mulch and add stone to some of our beautiful signage on the Ranger property. We brought the materials and they did the labor for us. We had our first ever PTO paint and wine night at Studio Life Art in Fall River. It was a great way for parents to meet and paint and raise funds for Ranger. And our color run is taking place this Thursday, the 16th, and we're happy to report we surpassed our goal of $15,000 with a net of $17,685. So $11,285 were from our incredible families, and $6,400 were from 35 different businesses in the community that donated. The proceeds will be put toward phase 1 of the Sunshade Project that was recently approved. Thank you so much. We're really excited. For a covered picnic area for outdoor lunch, snack, and classroom activities. We also had a goal of having 75% of our students register for Color Run to help the PTO purchase the correct size t-shirts for the day, because the PTO makes sure every student has a shirt. And we had a spectacular 84% of students register. So for everyone's hard work, we rewarded all of our students this past Monday with a giant Lego fun day in the gym, where each grade had a time slot to go and play for about 40 minutes with about 2,000 giant Lego blocks. We also had a raffle for all registered students, and the winner received a family membership to Buttonwood Park Zoo and a gift card to the Moose. And we're looking forward to our fourth grade farewell that'll be held on the last day of school. And though that's run by a subcommittee of fourth grade parents, the PTO helps by purchasing t-shirts, yearbooks, and this year, a personalized gourmet cookie for each fourth grade graduate. Some purchases that we made throughout the year: stocking of recess bins, sidewalk chalk, balls, jump ropes, etc. We did buy some bee traps for the yellow jackets at our lunch, outdoor lunch area, because we did have a lot of outdoor lunch in the fall and the bees were abundant. We added 4 additional handicap accessible steel picnic tables for the outdoor lunch area, supplies for the nurses suite, yearbooks for all Ranger School teachers. And we just recently had some great field trips. The 3rd grade did kind of an in-house staycation kind of field trip with STEM, and we grabbed the supplies for them. And we helped to fund the 2nd grade field trip to Capron Zoo, which was today, and the 4th grade field trip to the State House, which was on Monday. And last but certainly not least, we're all about fun at Ranger. We had some really great spirit days and some great participation. We did a Wickedly Wackily Hair Day for Halloween, a Winter Wonderland Day for winter break, a Wacky Wednesday in January to break up the doldrums, Valentine's Day, wear red or pink, and St. Patrick's Day, everyone was in green for the leprechaun. So thank you so much. This has been my first year on the PTO board at Ranger, and it's been incredible, and I feel really lucky to be a part of it. And coming out of the COVID era as a parent, not only as a PTO board member, has been really special to watch, and I'm really excited for next year and all the years to come. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Sounds like some really great activities. Yeah. Anyone else?
I would
Why
like
I'm
to
so
go
loud
back
all
to
of a sudden.
kindergarten and start again.
I know, really. That's what I was trying to find a way of saying that. Like,
Right? It's fun to go back and look
Remember
through
those
those
days?
eyes in that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No, it's phenomenal, and the things that you've managed to do in such a short period of time, what a great group. And it really is a testament not only to the parents, but to the staff at Ranger too, because I'm sure they work hand in hand with you, and
Absolutely.
it creates a culture that you know, it's not just about the homework and the reading and the math, and it's about the overall learning, and that's where you guys come in, and I just appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much. I couldn't agree. Our staff, our teachers, Mr. Cabral, who's our biggest supporter, who entertains ideas like leprechauns to school, and Walt, and all of those fun things. It takes a village, and we have the best.
St. Patrick's Day was busy this year, wasn't it?
It was a very busy year for
Busy
the
night too,
leprechaun.
wasn't it?
It was a busy night.
Busy night.
He's a busy guy. He might be back every year if we play our cards right.
So I think 4 years ago, Jocelyn and Jen Oser and myself and Kate Gilfillan, we went to the library. We talked about how we could all be on the same page as PTOs. I think that was like 4 years ago.
Okay. Wow.
And the PTOs really have done such a great job in and through the pandemic and out the other side. So
I agree.
I'm happy
Thank
to
you.
hear all you guys are doing good things, and I'm glad you're on that PTO. You and
you.
Jen, you're doing great there.
Thank you.
Thanks for the hard work.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me tonight. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, unfortunately, no one from the Barton PTO could join us this evening. However, our principal is here to kind of fill in a little bit of what's been taking place at Fort Barton. So, Amy, you ready? Amy, you ready?
Absolutely, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Hold on 1 second. Go for it, Amy.
Good evening, hi, I hope you can hear me all right. I'll be brief, obviously. We have an amazing PTO, as Ms. Farnworth was alluding to. I think we're very lucky in that the connection between our faculty, our families, and our parents in particular is amazing. So we have Ms. Gilfillan, Ms. Towers, Mr. Kraus, Ms. Wicks, and all the room parents. We also have a yearbook chair, we have a book fair chair, we have a field day and color run chair, and all together, those folks and many other teachers and parents on the committee really do an amazing job of fundraising and of supporting the kids and us. It's a wonderful thing. So they'll volunteer for anything, they'll fundraise, and they're very generous and responsive. Things that stand out to me, and I didn't quite prepare anything, but when I'm thinking about it, I think about our Spirit of Giving campaign. They really supported and did a lot of lugging of materials as we tried to really help the students understand that spirit of giving, not so much receiving at the holidays, but truly giving and giving across Tiverton. That was a wonderful collaboration. They also bought lights for our revamped 100th day celebration, which was all about 100 Days Brighter, and really made that fun for the kiddos. They will be probably coming with me soon to ask the committee's request to consider a big donation for a school as a result of the Color Run fundraising. So there's a million things I could list off, but at the end of the day, I think what's important to note is that we're grateful and we cannot thank the PTO enough.
Great. Thanks, Amy. Great work. Anything?
Thanks, Amy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Amy. I've seen all the activities just looking around at social media, but definitely Fort Barton, Ranger, and Pecasset all have a great group of active parents, and it's important to have these groups, especially at the younger ages. You know, it makes for a much more well-rounded educational experience for all of the kids, and I think that's a great start for children in Tiverton as they move up. So I'm grateful to you all.
Yep, same thing here. Thank you. I'm sorry someone couldn't be here tonight, but glad you could give us a little insight on what's going on, and appreciate everything from all the people on the Fort Barton PTO.
Okay, great. Dr. Sanquioni?
Great, thanks again, Amy. So representing the middle school, a new president for us, Erica Pena Vest, coming forward with the document.
With a handout.
Yes,
Thank you.
I like to bring things you can look at,
Thank you.
and you do less staring of me. Well, we're having a lot of fun at the middle school. For those of you that aren't aware of how things transpired, the TMS PTO Executive Board that started the 21-22 school year had served continuously for many years and had done an amazing job. Due to personal commitments, they were ready to pass the responsibility to a new group of parents. After an extensive and unsuccessful search for volunteers, it became clear that the organization would have to disband if no new leadership could be found. So at that time, a group of 4 moms stepped up to serve as the new executive board. They were officially voted in November of 2021, but due to schedule conflicts and the holidays, the turnover from the previous leadership didn't happen until February of this year. So we are basically giving you an update of the last 5 months of everything we've done. There was a little confusion as to what the purpose of a PTO is, and I know that there is a general consensus, a definition, if you will, that goes out nationally. And I called the PTO National Association personally, and I loved their response to me, because over the phone they told me the nationally accepted mission of any parent-teacher organization is simple. It's to make the school a better place for children to learn and teachers to teach. And I love that, because it's simple, but yet it gives us purpose. The goal of a PTO should be to support the school's effort in any way they can. A lot of people are not aware that the Tiverton Middle School PTO also serves as the TMS Athletic Booster Club. They concurrently do fundraising, event planning, and management of all funds for both organizations. And that's until we can find an athletic parent that wants to take it over. The coaches are very, very helpful, and they work very closely with us. And we actually enjoy doing it with them, because they're just fun to work with. In an effort to spare the students and parents the difficulty or from having to fundraise during this difficult COVID time, the TMS PTO focused on a more passive fundraising, which passive fundraising is events and sales, while still engaging in the fundraising that has been successful in the past, like the coaches insisted they had to sell chocolate bars, and now I know why. They sold them some chocolate bars, let me tell you. They did well. So the list of the fundraising events we've done over the last 5 months, we had a dining out at Chipotle as a fundraiser. We have Spirit Gear Sales, the school store that we've established. Tiverton Farmers Market, we had a booth there. We did the Ides of March Penny Challenge, which was a fun little twist, because I named it after the Ides of March, because as classmates they have to betray each other. And I think I was the only one that got that. So anyway, at the end they got a Julius Caesar bust, the winning class, and it was the 5th grade. And we had to explain to them why it was named after the Ides of March. So, but they had so much fun doing that. We got responses from teachers and parents that said they had never seen their kids so excited to go to school to bring us pennies. So it was a good time. We just last week had the Tigers versus Teachers basketball tournament, which was a fundraiser for boosters, and of course the chocolate bars. In the last few months of this school year, there were a few opportunities to hold school events that hadn't been available to us in the past or over the last couple of years. We combined our fundraisers with opportunities to treat our students to some much needed fun. So we did the Tiger versus Teacher basketball game, which was very popular. We're doing field day tomorrow, and during Teacher Appreciation Week, we doubled up and we also did a Cinco de Mayo gift bazaar. It's very common for the schools to do it over Christmas to give the kids opportunities to buy things for parents. But when my son was growing up, he was in a private school, that they would always do it for Mother's Day. So we decided to do it on the 5th of May and name it after the Cinco de Mayo, because nothing in the store was more than $5. So the kids could come with their little $20 bill and leave something for Mother's Day, Grandma, Father's Day, and all the holidays that were coming up. And it was actually very successful. Every leadership group has a personality of its own. If I had to summarize the personality and the goals of this current PTO executive board, it would be to make learning and teaching fun at TMS. Our students and teachers are foremost in our thoughts as we plan our events for the upcoming school year. What can we do to lighten the load of our teachers? What can we do to help ease the pressures on Mr. Zatoli and Mr. Kellett this week? What needs do our coaches and teams have? What can we do to help? And how can we make things better, smoother, and happier so that our children can create unforgettable memories at TMS? We fundraise and we have financial and organizational goals, but our students' joy comes before everything else. Parents, teachers, and students are symbiotic. What brings joy to one should affect the joy of others, and our main goal is to keep everyone happy. Now, for the programs, the fundraising that we did has to, of course, then get put back into the system. So in the last 5 months, we purchased team shirts for the newly formed chess club, uniform jackets for the TMS softball team. We gave $500 towards a redecoration of the TLC quiet room at TMS for the kids with special needs. We did a $1,000 contribution to the library for their new reading corner, which is really pretty, and we got a very colorful rug, so there would be a pop of color. Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week, we did treats and meals every day of the week. A newly stocked supply corner of personal toiletries at the Teacher's Lounge. That was something I set up. We set up, but it was that we were able to borrow their shelves, and we put, emergency toothpaste, we put emergency deodorant, we put Advil, which was the first thing to sell out. But it was all free, and it's something we restock. We're hoping to do it monthly, but for sure every 2 months, because there's enough of a supply in there to get them through. We had a pizza party for the 5th grade for winning the Penny Challenge. We did a community book drive for the library. We did, tomorrow we're having field day with an inflatable obstacle course, snow cones, sports games, a dunk tank, and more. We did a $700 contribution to help out the 5th grade with their trip to Mystic. We paid for the virtual field trip for the 6th graders. We bought new field equipment for TMS athletics. And we implemented a new program at the junior high called Tiger Bucks. Of all the things we've done, we've probably received the most input about that from the parents and the teachers. And basically what we did is we made $500 worth of gift cards and took it as a PTO expense because it's actual money. And that we gave 10 to each teacher, and we recycle them that way. But they get to give those to students that are caught doing something great or that are behaved really well that day. But we set up a way for them to send us a signal if they were giving it to a student that had special needs of some kind. So if the Tiger Buck is signed by the teacher in the back, that means it's not just worth $1. We basically let the child get whatever they want from the school store. And one thing, so it doesn't have the numerical, it doesn't have the dollar value, but it has a value to them and we've told the teachers, it's not just those that have, that either, financially maybe can't afford the school store or that they have, problems of their own, but also those kids that are shy or the kids that, they notice never run to the school store like the other children do, because there might be a reason for that. Or sometimes teachers are aware of students that just need a smile that day. And so we've told them that we will eat the cost. All they have to do is sign the back of the card. And lastly, this year we do not sell spirit gear as a fundraiser. That was new. During our tenure at TMS, we have sold spirit gear for a little over wholesale prices. In celebration of our ability to be able to socialize more and have events, and being aware of the financial difficulty facing many of our TMS families, we wanted everyone to have the opportunity to show their school spirit. So lastly, we were just awarded a grant from the Military Spouses of Newport. They gave us $500 to add more equipment to our STEM program. So I applied for that, hoping that they would consider us, and we won. So we will hopefully apply again next year, because Middletown and Portsmouth get it every year. I know, because I used to be on that board too. And no one from Tiverton that I know of had applied in the last few years. So next year we're all going to apply. They just don't know yet. And they usually give $500 per school. So it was nice. We were able to update our STEM closet for our teachers. So that's what we've got.
Great. Thank you very much, Erica. Sounds like some great programming. Mr. Dakotas, Ms. Farnworth?
Yes, thank you for taking the helm. I know big shoes to fill, right? Yes, very. I served with Jocelyn in some of that group before, but I know you're doing big things there. My daughter's there, so I hear about it. She's very excited for tomorrow. Yes. Right? So thank you. Keep up the good work. Appreciate it.
I echo Mike's comments with the gratitude for stepping in, because I know it was difficult finding able-bodied volunteers, and I don't know how you pulled the short straw, but I do want to thank you all for the hard work you put in this year. I also, one of the things you were talking about was this Tiger Bucks program, and it has seen some various iterations over the years, similar idea, but what really stood out to me was the extra effort to ensure that children who the teachers identified as really being in need of something a little extra. I think it's a fantastic partnership between the teachers and the parents here to make sure that all of the kids are cared for, and that's just wonderful.
What's been great about the school store is we never turn a child away. So if he comes in and says, "Wow, I really wanted a bottled water, but I don't have any money," we give them bottled water. I mean, even if I have to pay it out of my pocket, or any one of our staff will do so. But we're never going to turn a child away. Or if they're a quarter short, we're not going to say, "I'm sorry, you can't have that because you're missing a quarter." That's just not me. So it's caught on with the rest of the board, even though at first they laughed at me, because I give more money at the end of the night than we were collecting. But it's just it's neat to see the excitement on the kids' faces.
Oh, I'm sure it's fulfilling on both sides. But no, thank you so very much, and I look forward to hearing more of the same stories with hopefully some of the same folks and perhaps some newbies next year, right? Let's keep building these PTOs. They've certainly enjoyed a good run over the last several years, and that's something we didn't necessarily have when our kids were little. So appreciate all the parents coming out. I know we're not done yet, but that was for you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again.
And Erica, tomorrow with the dunk tank, can you assure me that the principal and vice principal will be participating?
And suddenly they changed their mind.
Really?
I was thinking maybe you could give them a call.
Well, I'm looking at him right now. So bring your wetsuit tomorrow, Mr. Sestoli, and
Has a little bit of a cold.
yeah.
Get into the.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Come on, Andy. You got to get in the dunk tank.
Sorry, I'm on mute.
I'll be going in the tank.
No pressure there, Mr. Z. Hey, someone who really makes a huge difference here at the high school, does a lot for our athletic teams. We're fortunate tonight to have the Boosters president, Mr. Michael Brigham. So, Mike, come on up.
Well, I don't have as many items as before me. I will start out, so we have.
Mike.
Sorry.
You good? No. So I don't have as many items. We'll start out championship jackets. The boys soccer team won the state championship. So the boosters provides jackets for that. We had one track and field championship. So we got a jacket for her. So that's about $1,500 in championship jackets. Then our scholarships are $2,000. We get 4 $500 scholarships. Then the girls' field hockey uniforms were $29.75. And then the tennis screen, and that I think we all see out there, that was $3,700. And then the gateway, which hopefully we got the go-ahead for everything. We waited till the end of the school year, make sure the Tiger games were done. Everything's kind of cleared out before they start the construction on that. So hopefully the next week or two, we can get that rolling. And that was a $20,000 donation. So that's what we have. We have, and I just kind of last minute getting this together. So we haven't had our end of the year. So I don't know. We had a very good golf tournament, but we haven't done the finals on the golf tournament or where we stand fiscally. But we're in very good shape.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Ms. Farnworth, Mr. Dakotas?
We have the best high school sports boosters of anywhere. And you may not have had a litany of events, but they're all heavy hitters. And every parent in this district, I'm certain, is appreciative of those efforts. And can we keep you on forever? We'll see.
We'll
right?
see. Yeah, we'll see.
And looking forward to that entrance, too.
Yeah, hopefully, and like I said, the gateway will be really nice, especially when we do the flowers. Or, hopefully we're going to try and tie in some of the students and do some, flower beds around it, and maybe we get senior projects.
Get
or
those kids
something-
involved.
Something
Absolutely.
designed in there that that maybe a student can kind of help out with and get their involvement a little with it.
Yeah.
But I think when that's done, that whole area should look real nice.
Very good, and thank you so much.
All right.
The windscreen looks good.
Yeah.
I had a great time at the golf tournament. You guys do an amazing job. I'll be there every year. Keep raising money. You do good things for the
It's
school.
time for a new event. Well, we'll keep the golf tournament, but now that we have, we have that locked down pretty good.
Yeah.
So we'll look to do something in the fall, but we try not to do too much because everyone else is. So we look, we're going to try and do just two. Our goal has always been to do 2 big events, and then we just decided let's get the golf tournament, where we want it to be, and we're solid, and then we can kind of branch out now that we have that down, and look to do something in the fall, so we're not stepping on everyone's toes. And it's a small town. It's tough to, we start doing too much, and then you're taken from the PTOs and all that. So,
Well, you did a great job. Keep it up. Thanks for your hard work.
all right, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay,
That's it.
good.
Good evening.
Thanks to all of our parent volunteers. I think of you all as future school committee members, frankly. So, and that's not really a joke.
Where do you think we all came from?
Exactly. That's sort of my point. All right. So we are on item 5B, possible vote to accept donation of drama posters. Mrs. Craven.
Hi, thank you. So we received a selection of posters that were signed by a donor who felt very strongly that they should be hung in our auditorium. So I am here this evening to ask that you support that donation by voting in favor of accepting it.
Okay, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion that we approve the donation.
I'll second that.
Posters.
End of the time warp. Okay. Any discussion? I'm going to ask for a vote. Mr. Dakotas?
Yes.
Mrs. Farnworth?
With gratitude, yes.
And I vote yes as well. So thank you very much, Mrs. Craven, and thank you to the donor. The donor is anonymous or doesn't want to be named, or?
Thank you.
Thank you. We are having a difficult time in hearing,
So I apologize if I missed something you asked.
They're asking who the donor was. So
The donor was a former student at the school whose family I don't have the name off the top of my head. I apologize for that. The documentation was submitted.
Oh, Maureen and Michael Umahara. Oh, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you to Maureen and Mike.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. So next is the item 5E, high school front walkway funding. Dr. Sanchioni.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You may recall the school committee had asked us to investigate building that walkway here at the high school from the teachers' parking lot over to the school. It was not part of our capital plan or part of our budget. So we have some options here that we'd like to express to you and then hopefully seek your permission for funding for that. So I'm going to turn it over to our finance director, who's got those options to present to you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanchioni. In your packet, we provided 2 quotes that our maintenance director obtained to complete the work for that sidewalk. One was upwards of $30,000. The other was just above $20,000. However, today I had a conversation with Mrs. Craven, who is aware of a contractor, and Mrs. Craven, if you could correct me, it's the spouse of a teacher at the middle school, is that correct?
No, it's a spouse of Karen Freitas, who is the guidance secretary at the middle school.
Okay. Has offered to complete the work for a cost of $5,000. And that information was made available to us today.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to do it.
Could we, do you have Mr. Freitas's name? Does he have a business? Or?
I don't have that information as yet. That was just verbally communicated to me from Mrs. Craven this afternoon.
So
we're waiting on the paperwork.
Are we putting off the vote then?
We have
So
to.
our head custodian came to me this afternoon and stated that he received a bid for $5,000 to do the walkway. He left early this afternoon and didn't give me an opportunity to get that paperwork from him. Knowing that we had a bid for $30,000 and I know this individual does quality work, I thought it was prudent that we try to get approval for this to get the work started right away, because it is the time period where people get busy when they're doing, contractual work, especially for walkways and cement work. So I can get that information to you, but he does own a business, he does own a construction company, and he does do cement walkways.
So, Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
If I may, because the amount is below a required bid amount, I'd ask the school committee to accept this and allow us to fund it out of fund balance.
So I think we're kind of at a bit of a procedural impasse. I'm not positive that we are. One is that if the bid was just received today, were posted for this item, I think we can actually take the vote unless, so we have, it looks like 2 bids already. One was for $36,000 and the other was for $13,750.
Yeah.
Those were quotes.
They're quotes, we didn't go out to bid.
I see.
Which allows you then to accept our recommendation.
Right, and we have a quote for, you said $5,000?
Correct.
Okay. Well, if another member of the committee would care to make a motion to approve that, funding that project out of the fund balance, it is below the...
Yes, the threshold.
It is. We don't need to go out, at $5,000, we do not need to go out to bid.
The funding.
Right.
I would like to make a motion that we allocate up to $5,000 for the excavation and installation of a sidewalk at the high school.
Okay. Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion for discussion.
Okay. So let's open the discussion. Mr. Dakotas?
Yes, could I ask to hear from Mr. Mendes since he's here? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
The two quotes that I got were for removal of the curbing, restraightening of the curbing, and putting it all back into place, then asphalting and digging it all out. Also, the grass area that goes from the auditorium to the front door was part of my bids. So there was a lot of construction work before the actual cement went in. So they did, once the teachers hit that sidewalk, they'd never have to go back into the street at all. I don't know what that 5,000 bid is, $5,700 entailed. So I can't answer any questions on that.
Well, actually, I had a similar question. Yeah, and even the two quotes that we have here, one of them is very specific, right, as to the work that's going to be done, even though I still can't necessarily picture where this is, you know.
Right in front of the auditorium in that roadway area.
So it's basically a
Yeah, so from
dusty
like
path right now, right?
the
It's just a small.
music area
Yeah.
to the main door, that's where it would be going. So right in
Okay.
front of the auditorium with that big
Okay, so
overhead door
you would
is.
have sidewalk running along the entire side.
Yes, right
There,
towards the
okay.
front door.
So, I mean, again, one of these quotes was very prescriptive. The other was a little less so. And now we have a quote for $5,000
Yeah.
that we don't know what it really entails.
I never met with the gentleman, so I can't answer any questions.
So the motion is to approve funding for up to $5,000. I guess my view would be that is, I'm certainly willing to support that. I would like to hear more at our next meeting about exactly the scope of the work. And once Ms. Roderick and Dr. Sanquioni are able to review the quote in a little bit more detail, that they, either approve it and or come back to us with if there's questions or concerns of any sort.
Would it be appropriate if I amended my motion to make it contingent upon the?
You can make a motion to amend your original motion, yes? And then then the amendment has to be approved, and then then we vote on the main motion.
Okay. So I would like to make an amended motion that we approve up to $5,000 for this sidewalk repair or installation, contingent on the receipt of full information from the vendor and a return of the actual description of the work to be done by that vendor to this committee at our next meeting.
Okay. So there's an amendment to the motion. Is there a second to the amendment?
I'll second that.
Any discussion on the amendment?
So the only question is up to 5,000. Was it exactly 5,000? Do we know?
And that's my understanding from Mrs. Craven.
And what is the threshold that we have to, below which we need to have bidding?
10,000 for construction projects.
Okay. All right. So right now we have the amendment to the original motion on the floor. Any other discussion? I'll ask for a vote. Mr. Dakotas?
Yes.
Mrs. Farnworth?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So the motion now stands as amended, that the committee approves expenditure up to $5,000 for the sidewalk, contingent on review of the scope of the work by Dr. Sanquioni and Ms. Roderick, with return to the school committee if there are any questions which arise. Any further discussion on the main motion? Okay, I'll ask for a vote. Mr. Dakotas?
Yes.
Mrs. Farnworth?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So with gratitude to the other vendor, but we do need a little bit more information, so if you guys can be sure to review that and come back with us if there's substantial concerns or questions arise.
Yeah, no problem. Anthony Souza does have that, and like I said, I wasn't able to get it from him this afternoon when I contacted him, so we'd be more than happy to
give you that information, but I appreciate you amending the vote. Thank you.
Yeah, understood. Thank you, and thank him as well. As well as, was it Mrs. DeFreitas, you said? Or Freitas? Freitas.
Yes. Yes.
Say, okay. So we are up to item 5F, possible vote to accept Arts Initiative Grant. Dr. Sanquioni?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your packet, I provided you a documentation for an Arts Integration Initiative grant from SBA. Tiverton has been awarded $53,792. I'd ask you to accept this grant to enhance our art program here in the district.
Ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second for discussion.
Okay. Open it up to discussion. Mrs. Farnworth?
Just a couple questions. One of them is the description of our body is listed on this document as the Tiverton Public School Committee, and I don't believe that's an accurate title for us. I believe that we are the Tiverton School Committee only. I'm not sure if that really matters. Just wanted to point that out, as there are a number of Rhode Island state laws quoted within this. And can we have some kind of discussion over how the money will be spent?
Dr. Sanquioni?
Yeah,
I think
so
that's to you.
you may recall in an email I sent you, we're using a portion of it to fund the graphic art studio that you may recall came before you earlier, that we lost the funding for that. We feel that's going to be a great enhancement to the high school art program. We're working with the high school music department right now to identify some of their needs, and we will certainly extend this to the elementary, middle school to see what some of the needs are at those areas too. So we will use the grant to use it for arts enhancement across the district.
Okay. Any other questions, Mrs. Farnworth?
No questions, but I would like to see how ultimately it
Yeah,
does end up being spent.
We'll give you a full accounting when it's completed.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Dakotas?
No questions, but any free money is great news.
Okay. And I guess I don't really have any questions right now. I'm not sure the public thing, I don't think there's, I think there's plain understanding of, I think you have to go to England to find another Tiverton. So maybe there's another one in the United States. I'm not sure.
There is, actually.
There's
Because
one.
you put in a Google search,
Yeah.
so I get their issues
Okay.
once in a while.
All right. Well, we have
I'll to
some.
look. I think it's Texas, but I'll find out for you.
There has been contact with Tiverton, England, apparently, which means the place between two rivers, by the way, which seems appropriate. I don't know if the founders knew that that was actually what they realized were between the Secana and the Westport, et cetera. All right. I go on. I'm going to ask for a vote. Mr. Dakotas?
Yes.
Mrs. Farnworth?
Yes.
I vote yes. So, thank you.
Thank you.
And we're up to
Old business B.
item 6B, budget versus actual. Ms. Roderick?
Thank you, Dr. Larkin. In your packet, you have our traditional month-end report of budget versus actual as compared to last year. And for the most part, while some categories are over, some are under, we are tracking, as far as I've calculated, to be on budget come June 30th. In particular, if we're looking at purchase professional technical services, the 53,000 series, you can see that we're over budget by about 80,000, but of that, 285,000 was approved by the school committee for the RGB architect services. So technically, we're actually under budget on that. Also in that category, we are over budget for virtual high school, which is actually the Rhode Island Connections Academy. Initially, that was in the ESSER 3 spending plan, but then we removed it to help balance the budget for FY23 with ESSER 3 funds. Going forward, fuel oil is over budget, as is electricity. We have done a considerable amount of maintenance this year for items that just could not be put off, and it was far more than we budgeted. Not far more, but more than we had budgeted. So some of the maintenance and repairs accounts are over budget. But overall, we will come in on budget for June 30th. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I'll open up the floor discussion from the committee members. Mr. Dakotas?
Amy, thanks for doing this for us all the time. It is helpful. And I'm looking at the end of that, the actual and the balance. So am I seeing 1.7 million? Is that right?
I'm sorry, where are you looking, please?
I'm looking at the very last page underneath 60,000, the grand total. I'm at the grand total line at the very end.
So that is,
That's the net change.
that's the net change from one year to the next.
Okay. So that's from last year to this year, up 1.7. Is that how I read it?
We're actually down 1.7.
Down 1.7. That's my question. Sorry. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Black is good, red is bad.
Actually, Amy, I'm going to push back a little bit on that, because I see for FY '21, 26.5 million spent to date, FY '22, 27.5 spent year to date. Even though I do acknowledge that the operations budget was less, and that's the swing.
So some of this includes some of the capital projects that we've done. We have to record all of our capital, which is a different source of funding. As you know, that we're, so for example, for some of the equipment and the building improvements, those are part of the casino money that we're receiving from the town. That is not included in the approved budget, but we are required to report it in this format to to the state.
You are, I agree, and I guess what I will probably endeavor for us to do is to have perhaps a little bit more information as to the sources of funds starting next year, to say, okay, well, X was, in total, X was from operations, Y was from fund balance, and Z was perhaps from additional appropriations or grants. But I'll perhaps reach out to you, Amy, and maybe we can.
Okay, we also, in
that.
addition, on the 27.5 million, we have almost $200,000 of grant expenses that still need to be transferred to the grant. So this is a hodgepodge of reporting that we're required to do.
I guess the overall goal here is for oversight, and my personal desire is to make sure we understand each and every one of the line items. I know you spoke to the increased costs of, let's say, electricity, right? We all know that inflation is probably trickling into these amounts here, there, and everywhere, right?
Correct.
So those are the things we can continue to point out and understand. I just want to ensure that, when we allocate a budget, when we approve a budget, that any overage at the group level, we have a full understanding of, and that it's not simply money overspent. That's really the bottom line.
Which is not the case. Well, I take that back. So for going back to the 53,000 series, again, 53406, other services, again, not to harp on or beat a dead horse with RGB, but that was, so the total overspent for that category is just about $80,000. However, the school committee authorized 285 plus to cover those which were not initially budgeted.
And really to cover it from fund balance.
Correct. Correct.
And on the flip side, you're seeing, and I fully understand, right? It's 11 months of the year. That 12th month is, you're going to work over the summer at your adjustments. for the fiscal year end. I completely get that. I just think it's still important for us to always call these items out and speak to them and have all of us understanding it. For example, school bus monitors, we're looking at some good favorability there, which has helped to support some of these other items. And I think
Well, in fact, that directly supports the statewide transportation, which is over through, we have no control over that cost. And so in my mind, it's transportation related, and so it's a wash. It doesn't really cover much other than that.
Okay, I don't have any additional questions.
Okay. Mr. Dakotas?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Can you restate the item about the virtual high school again, Amy? I didn't quite follow that.
So initially, the virtual high school line item,
Yep.
approximately 100 to 110,000 of that was budgeted in ESSER 3. When we were going through the budget for FY23 and trying to figure out what we were going to utilize from ESSER 3 to help balance the budget, one of Dr. Senkione's presentations eliminated that and put that Rhode Island Connections Academy back into the operating budget and was approved by the committee.
We had savings in special education. Wasn't that the reason why?
I don't recall.
I'm sorry, say that again.
You may recall in the presentation, we had some significant savings in special education which would cover that those expenses were transferable.
Okay.
Correct. A lot of the students using the Rhode Island Connections Academy are special needs students.
Okay. All right. And then other technical services, 53502. That also seems to be very red.
So if you were to take all of the technology categories, and at the next meeting, I'm happy to provide a summary. The budget that was provided by the technology director, he budgeted in different object codes than we have to report in. And I can tell you that all of them net out to a level budget. It's not overspent.
Okay.
So I'm happy I can provide a quick summary for you.
Okay. And then lastly was the Sped transportation statewide. That's 275.
Correct.
And is there a sense of why that is so high? Was there different student populations or new students or something?
So it is the formula, which I'm not fully familiar with, that the state allocates on a percentage basis to each of the school districts that participate in the statewide transportation, but not necessarily directly on a pro rata basis. It's based on mileage and where the students go, and then there's so much per mile, among other things. And that is a contract that RIDE has with the bus contractor directly. We are not involved in that. Initially, in speaking with our special education director, I don't know, this is 18 months ago now, she had anticipated approximately 150,000, but that was before RIDE renegotiated their contract with the vendor. So that.
Okay.
So is it more students? No, it's the same number of students.
For $275,000 more than we budgeted.
Mm-hmm.
And 400,000 more than we paid last year?
Yeah, and a contract that we have no control over?
Correct.
Okay. I'm beginning to see part of the problem. All right. Okay. I'll just leave it there.
This is definitely something school committees in general should lobby the legislature about.
Yeah. And yeah.
And we've had several conversations, Dr. Sanchione and I have had several conversations with the statewide operations, and apparently their calculation is very complex, which we haven't delved into, but we have no opportunity to change it.
And if you want more detail, we could bring Sarah in.
Yeah.
Go through it there with the
Yeah.
actual mileage and the students and where they're going.
I think this, yeah, and I think this has to be part of the, again, we're not going to get to it tonight, but part of the whole global issue of our deficit and how we close that, and the control we have over certain costs, and the complete lack of control we have over other costs that are, far more substantial and hurt us a lot more than anything that we can control.
So I can tell you that Mrs. Krager and I have, not in the recent month or so, but prior to that, have looked at bringing that option in-house, trying to find vans and drivers, and we can find neither. Or at least vans that are safe enough to transport these children.
Yeah, no, I'm sure Mrs. Krager is very proactive and acutely aware of these things. That is not at all where I think the problem lies.
No, I was just saying we have been looking at alternatives for FY23, in-house alternatives.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions. Anything else from any of the members of the committee? Mr. Farley?
A lot of this goes beyond my expertise, so no.
Okay.
Considering a career in accounting, maybe?
Well,
Finance? No.
No. No offense to you, Ms. Roderick, but it's not my forte.
All right. We are up to item 6D, the possible vote for the FY23 line item budget. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the final line item budget for FY23. As required by law, I believe.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? Okay, I will second it. To open up the discussion, Mrs. Farnworth?
Sure. When I asked to have this put on for vote tonight, I really did expect a line item budget, and that's not what we received. I understand we may have received these line items 6 months ago in our budget book, but I do think it important that the line item budget be part of the packet where we actually take a vote on those line items. We already have approved the bottom line.
Okay. Mr. Dakotas, any comment, discussion?
I think I have to agree with Ms. Farnworth on that. We probably should have something to look at. I'm a visual learner, so that would help. That is my comment.
So Dan, just to make sure I understand, your concern is that we don't actually have the line item budget as part of our packet?
Correct.
Okay.
And I would certainly be willing to take this up again at our next meeting.
Okay. So the motion has been made, is on the floor. Any other discussion from the members of the committee? Dr. Sanquioni, Ms. Roderick?
I would say, in the packet, I provided you a memo that, we had been responded to, maybe could have done differently, but the line item budget is the budget book we gave you. You remember we came out with a level service budget. That's the budget we wanted to achieve. We didn't achieve that budget through the funding through the town and the state, but however, you made the decision to use fund balance and other funds to bring us up to that level. So in essence, that's why I gave you, rather than clutter this presentation more, I gave you a memo that basically said the line item budget is the budget book. That was the top line we wanted. So you have all the salaries of our people in there, you have all of our accounts in there, but if you want us to reproduce that, that's, we knew we would have certainly done that.
Okay. Any other discussion? I'll ask for a vote. Mr. Dakotas?
No.
Ms. Farnworth?
I'll abstain.
Okay, I'll vote yes. The motion fails. Next is future meeting dates, agenda topics. Right now, we are scheduled to meet July 12th and August 16th. I would like to try and see if we can find a time to meet again this month. We had originally only scheduled a single meeting this month. The second Tuesday, which is our traditional second meeting, would be June 28th, but I am completely open to other dates that work for other people. We also have to, get in contact with Mrs. Palish and Mrs. Pavo about what dates work for them. So, but I think, I'm here forever, so.
I'm around at that point.
So the 28th?
Yeah, I don't think.
Mike?
I'm away the 28th
You're away the 28th?
for a work meeting, just that one night.
How about the 27th? I mean, that's usually a town council meeting.
I don't have a town council meeting on this. I have one on the 20th.
Well, I'm just going basically by, okay, so maybe they're not meeting
No,
the 28th.
town council should be the 27th.
27th?
Yeah.
So they're
met this
usually
Monday.
the second and fourth
Yeah.
Monday, and we're usually the second and fourth Tuesdays. Maybe they're doing it differently this month. It's always kind of a funny month.
I'm available any night that week.
How about the 29th, Mike? The Wednesday?
Possibly.
Peter, Amy?
I can't do the 29th.
Can't do the 29th.
I could do the 27th.
That's the town council meeting.
Yeah. You may want to check with that, though.
Well, and they're going to have a hearing on the financial town referendum that I think we need to participate in.
Is that going to be that night?
I don't know. I don't think they've set a date.
I don't think they have either, and I don't think they will have that hearing that quick. They have to
Probably
advertise
not.
it.
Probably not.
Is there a contention with the camera? Is that the issue?
No, we've just generally tried to avoid nights
No,
at their
you're
meeting,
right.
and I don't know if they avoid nights that we're meeting. I think they do. I don't know. It's just, since our business does overlap from time to time, less so this time of year than other times of year.
I'll leave
How
it
about
up
the
to-
30th?
I'll leave it
Thursday.
up to you to-
Yeah, all right, so what,
Gone.
30th?
I'm gone. I take off from 29th to that weekend. I'm gone.
Okay.
Next Tuesday, the 21st. I don't know if that's too quick.
When do you leave, Diane?
I'm not available all week, and I don't think Deb is either.
All right. All right, I think we need to meet, again, before the middle of July.
And if I may, Dr. Larkin,
Mhm.
next week doesn't work then?
No, not for, so we will continue to pursue this via email, which we're allowed to do. So is there a date besides the 27th, Mike, that doesn't work, or is it the 28th?
Is there a date that does work? How's that?
I don't know.
Okay, all
And
right.
it's because of All-Stars.
Okay.
So I don't have a schedule yet.
Okay, well, stand by. We will pursue a date. I am going to ask for the committee's pleasure. Does someone want to make a motion to table executive session, or shall we go into executive session?
I would like to make a motion that we table executive session tonight.
Is there a second? That's to you, Mr. Dakotas.
I will second it, sure.
Any discussion? I'll ask for a vote. Mr. Dakotas?
Yes.
Mrs. Barnworth?
Yes.
I vote yes, so we're tabling executive session. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Absolutely.
Any opposed? We're adjourned.